Hi Scorpio, it's Sloan Rhodes with your mid-November through the end of the year, December 2017, Life, Purpose, Career, and Money reading. Scorpio, this is an adjunct video to the previously released Life, Purpose, Career, and Money reading that I did for October, November, and December. I'll have a link here so you can watch that if you haven't watched it already, or if you just want to check it out, or you want further clarification. It's much more comprehensive. This is an adjunct, kind of a bonus video. So let's just go ahead and get started. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This reading, for this reading, I'm going to be choosing one card from the Angels of Abundance as the overarching theme, 3 cards from the Witch's Tarot, 1 for what you're meant to not do, 2 for what you're meant to do, and 3 for what you're meant to, for what you can look forward to regardless. And then I'm going to just draw 1 money card from the Money Tarot by Eugene Vinitsky for a quick look at your money. Let's go ahead and get started. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Mid-November through the end of the year 2017. Adjunct video. And Scorpio, all the readings are now up on my podcast on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. So there'll be links here as well. So if you want to listen to your reading as opposed to watching a video, you'll be able to do that. Let's get started. Here we go. Abundance Mindset. This is the 3rd time this has come up since I started these readings yesterday. It's a beautiful card. I'm really drawn to, of course, those pinks and greens related to the heart chakra. The way in which we feel abundant is really what you're being asked to focus on during this particular time frame. You know, we all notice lack. We all have egos, and ego loves to point out where things are seemingly lacking. But for this particular time frame, Scorpio, you're meant to focus even more consciously on what is available. You know, so many times we notice, as I mentioned, the ego will make what is lacking, you know, we perceive it as lacking, as the most important thing. But in reality, there's all that abundance around it. You know, we have all the beautiful, I think I said this in other videos, all the, you know, the beautiful colors saturating our world, you know, that is abundant. You know, that's an amazing experience when you really allow yourself to recognize and acknowledge and enjoy the beautiful spectrum of color and varying hues that we experience in our everyday life, but we just don't think about, you know, because our ego doesn't have us focus on that. So there's a lot of ways to do this, and of course you can look at this within your own personal life and you can say, okay, what is abundant around me? Well, you know, oxygen right now is abundant possibly, or plant life, or humanity is teeming all around me. You know, that's abundant. Now, it may not be your preference necessarily, but it's still there, and that's what you're being asked to focus in on really from the place of what you enjoy. You know, we can certainly focus on the humanity teeming around us, and then our ego can come in and nitpick and go, oh, but I don't want to be around these people. I want to be out in nature. Well, you know, there's a fine line there between noticing what's abundant and then allowing the ego to come in and say, but it's not my preference. You know, it's like you have to really be conscious about it, because the ego is very sneaky in that way. Not that the ego's good or bad, as you know, Scorpio. It's just that it's so familiar, we forget that we actually have another choice that we can make, you know, which is away from the seeming lack and towards the abundance. So just something to consider anyway. I know that you know this already. I'm just giving you the reminder as it comes in here, because it's very common to focus on the lack, as if somehow the lack is more noble. I don't know why that is. Okay, so what is Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising? What is Scorpio meant to not do or stop doing, do or start doing or keep doing, and what can Scorpio look forward to regardless? Remember, Scorpio, with the abundance mindset, you know, we're dropping into the heart here. So, you know, your mind will say, yes, that's all available, but, you know, so you can recognize it when it comes in with that more sort of egoic taint to it, let's say, or influence. Whereas the heart just says, ah, it's all pretty cool, you know. But the mind will say, yes, but, you know. So that's how you can kind of play with it. from a practical standpoint. And you can't do it wrong. It's just the more consciousness you kind of shine upon it during this time frame, the more that you'll be able to shift into feeling better about your circumstances. And that's where everything stems from the heart. Okay, Scorpio. All right, so what you're meant to not do or stop doing, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Could be an earth sign involved. Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. What you're meant to do or start doing is the High Priest, which is the Hierophant. And what you can look forward to regardless is the Eight of Cups. Very interesting. We have the Karma or the Judgment card in reverse under the deck. Okay, let me show you the cards, Scorpio. So what you're meant to not do or stop doing is we have the Knight of Pentacles. What you're meant to do or start doing, we have the High Priest, the Hierophant, right there in the center. And then what we have here is, and what you can look forward to regardless, is the Eight of Cups. You're moving on here, Scorpio. You're headed out. Could be that you travel between now and the end of the year. And it could be that you just decide to leave something, leave a job, possibly even leave a project that you've been working on. It's almost like it's been bubbling up within you for a while, and at some point during this time frame, you're just like, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm going to take that trip. I'm going to move away towards something that feels more important to my soul, that feels more in alignment with my heart. Remember, we're dropping into the heart here. You're wanting abundance in all areas of your life, not just an abundant family life or an abundant love life, but you're wanting abundance in the work that you do, in your bank account, in your sense of purpose in the world. And the Eight of Cups is truly the card of the spiritual journey. You know, it's taking a journey for your soul growth. So you do tend to leave behind certain things. You usually pack very lightly whenever you kind of go on this journey. And packing lightly in terms of what you're choosing to bring with you in terms of your experiences. You're leaving like experiences behind that aren't in alignment with who you are now, let's say. And what I mean by that is, of course, we always take our experiences with us, but you're not shining the light upon the negativity. You're shining the light on the abundance that you're being drawn to, really, that is being revealed to you from within. Very cool. All right, so this goes beautifully with what you're meant to not do or stop doing. And this is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is slow moving. You keep going forward, and this is how I'm feeling it for you. You're because you're meant to stop doing this. You're moving forward, and you're making progress, slow progress, and it's very steady. It's very methodical, but it doesn't speak to the wildness of your soul. That's how it's coming in. I'm really drawn to. There's a deer or an elk there, and here you are. I feel like this is you in some ways. You're just kind of going through, and it's what's expected of you, and you're doing it, and this is what you do, right? Every day, like, oh, this is my life now, kind of thing. But like I said, the kind of the wildness of your soul is here. You want to be able to be free. This is what is most likely going to occur regardless of what you do or don't do. And it also could be an earth sign for you here, Scorpio, or an environment where everything is very slow moving, very methodical. And as I mentioned, there's a stirring within you of a certain wildness. But what's really interesting is with the High Priest here, or the Hierophant, in what you're meant to do or start doing, this could be higher education. This could be getting additional skill, a new skill set through education. It could also be that you decide to work in a more traditional work setting. It could be that you've been on your own in some way, more sort of solo pursuits or entrepreneurial pursuits, and you're making progress, but it's really slow, and it's not suiting, again, that wildness. And you may decide to do something more traditional. It could be government related, educationally related, a higher institution of some kind, a bigger company, Or it could also just be, if you don't want that, because that can feel heavy sometimes too. But for many of you, it may provide that sense of abundance. You know, you're not just scraping by, but they have the insurance benefits, and they have, you know, a lot more to offer to you based on just their sheer size and stability. And it may be also, if it's not about working for a company like that, it's about maybe being more traditional. You know, and again, this doesn't mean it's your whole life. It's just during this period of time, it looks like you're kind of being asked to go a little bit more traditional. Don't try to do something too avant-garde here. Maybe that's what you've been doing in the past. You've been, again, for some reason, I feel like a little bit of more like entrepreneurial or solo, and it's just been kind of a struggle. You don't have to do it alone, and you don't have to do it so slowly, but you have to make a shift here, and this is what you're doing. You're doing this with the Eight of Cups. You're moving on regardless. Again, it could be from a project, could be from a group, could be from a job, and you're going towards something that's going to be more stable. This is what you're meant to focus in on more, something that's more traditional, something that's more stable, good higher education. Because even though it seems as though that would be in contrast to what your soul is wanting, the wildness of your soul, it also provides you with a certain degree of stability, which allows for you to not worry so much. You know, it gives you this sense, this feeling as though you're more secure. And with that sense of security, where you don't have to worry so much, like, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to pay my insurance? How am I going to take care of my family? Because this is a bigger, kind of more traditional sort of organization, you know, possibly, or even if it's just a more traditional approach to what you've been doing, it creates more stability. You know, traditions, you know, people often like to buck tradition, like, oh, it's so traditional, but there's a reason things tend to last the test of time in terms of traditions. There's beautiful traditions, and they're there for a reason, because there's something comforting about them. And it may provide you with a sense of comfort, which dampens down the fear and adrenaline response and allows you to be more creative and explore what your soul is asking you to explore more without all the fear and anxiety. We do have the Karma card in the reverse here under the deck. Be aware too where you are, you know, you're not I kind of feel like this is weird. It's actually coming in kind of as though the environment that you're in hasn't been providing you with that sense of stability that you're wanting. I'm really drawn to the fact that they're all holding hands and they're all like praising, you know, the eclipse, it looks like. Honoring their spiritual side here, but beyond that, with the Judgment card in reverse, it's kind of like the environment you've been in hasn't been providing you with that next layer or level, next level of this is what it is. It's like you've been cruising along, but you haven't been progressing, right? Like this. And I feel like the environment that you've been in has been kind of like that. Like it hasn't provided you with that sense of. It's like when you are in a tennis match, or I don't play tennis. I don't know why that's coming in. But if you're in a sporting event, right, and you're playing with people who are of the same skill set, and then you play against someone who's much better than you, and that ratchets up your game, and suddenly you get to the next level. So I feel like the environment that you've been in has been like that. You've been playing kind of within this kind of level like this, and there's been a lot of difficulty and a lot of struggle, but part of it is that you've been wanting to break out of it. You've been wanting to ascend to the next level. That's how it's feeling. Like you're not meant to do this anymore. Slow and steady wins the race, you know. You're meant to do something that provides you with a greater sense of tradition, higher, again, this goes back to this higher learning, you know, and it may not be an actual higher learning in terms of an educational institution, but you're meant to, and even he's pointing upward, right, when it goes with the spiritual journey. Something that's provides you with a higher skill set is what it's feeling like to me. That's really interesting, Scorpio. Thank you for bearing with me as the messages came in. It was kind of difficult to get there, but I'm there now. Yeah, it's like you've just expanded beyond what you've been in. This is why it's so important for you to focus in on what you want, the things that you enjoy, the abundance that's, even if it's not seemingly in your present environment, you can begin to play with it like, oh, it's going to be so exciting when I'm at the next level of my skills and abilities. It's going to be so exciting when I'm pushed a little bit more to go beyond what I've been doing recently. I can't wait to work in an environment with like-minded people who are also wanting to expand and grow. And you can play with it, and just be aware that if the ego may come in and go, yeah, but you're never going to get there, or yeah, but you don't have it yet, and say, oh, I hear you, ego, but I'm going to go more with the feeling of how amazing it will feel, and just play with it. You'll feel the back and forth is very normal. Don't worry too much about that. But this is how it's feeling for me, Scorpio. So I hope that makes sense and the message was clear in the end. So let me get one more card for you. This is reading this going long. From the Money Tarot by Eugene Vinitsky, just to take a quick peek at your money. Again, you can listen to your October, November, December life purpose reading if you want a more comprehensive look at the energies. Yeah, it's about pushing yourself, but not in an aggressive way or a judgmental way, but about the next step for you really is out of your comfort zone a little bit, but it'll feel better. And in general, Scorpios like change. You're ruled by Pluto, the planet of transformation. You enjoy a tremendous amount of transformation. And if you don't enjoy it, it's part of the lesson in coming into this incarnation as a Scorpio. And we have the High Priest, the Hierophant, with the number 5 representing change, that tipping point right in the middle. Okay, so we have the 8 of Pentacles with regard to your money. So regarding your money during this particular time frame, just be careful about where you spend money. Again, you're towards the end of the year. By the end of the year, I would imagine if you haven't already made a change, you're headed in that direction. And since it's a little bit of uncertainty here with that 5, that vibration of 5 of change, just be careful, be cautious. I know it's going to be, the holidays are coming up, and sometimes it can be difficult, but you don't have to be miserly, but just be aware of where your money's going, where you can tighten in a little bit, the nuts and bolts of what, review your bank account and see, what subscriptions you've subscribed to that aren't really necessary, and every little penny counts during this time period. As you prepare for a big shift, it looks like. So, okay, Scorpio, I hope you found that helpful. This reading has gone long. Again, you can listen to this on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts, and I hope that you will join me for the weekly spiritual guidance videos, which I release every Sunday, or I may see you at your private appointment. Till then.